do you think that like the way that your situation went with your dad and like that lack of love and affection from a male had anything to do with like the way you chose men or the kind of men you chose?
I didn't know what kind of man I wanted. That was just never anything that came up in my mind. I know guys have always liked me, and my dad literally would run everybody away. Everybody. And I think me getting pregnant was just, it was being naive. Just thinking I could do something and get away with it, and got caught up. I didn't know what kind of man I wanted because nobody ever sat down and talked to me about the type of man that I should look for. I saw what I had, but as you get older, you just like, is this what it is? I knew I didn't want to be with no preacher, no pastor. You can miss me with being a first lady because nah, we're not doing that. I knew that much.
Okay.
But that's all. Like, I just knew that I'm supposed to have somebody to take care of me, and that's it. Like, nobody taught me nothing. Nobody taught us about sex. Nobody taught us about finances. Nobody taught us about credit. Nobody taught us about what to look for in a relationship, or, you know, how to raise a kid, or, you know, none of that stuff. We didn't know.
One of the things that came to mind when I was reading your book did center around sex. And I was like, Ladora sounded like she was pretty, I don't want to say hot to try,
Well, I was.
But you,
I was hot. I wasn't promiscuous, but I was doing stuff.
You were really.
I was a horny teenager.
Okay, thank you. I didn't want. Okay,
Yeah,
I think
was a horny
did.
Teenager.
So,
but how do you curtail that? The only thing my mom would ever tell me: keep your skirt down, and don't be doing no heavy kissing because it leads to other things. That was sex. That was the sex talk. But how do you tell somebody whose hormones are raging? See, my mom was married and had her first child by the time she was 16, 17 years old. So she grew up in that era. My dad grew up in that era where they were married young and, you know, people were having kids at 14, 15. That was the dynamic of that day. But I guess they felt like it didn't apply to us. Like, our hormones would just be turned off because we were in church.
So how do you resolve those two things? The urge of the flesh, and then the religious aspect of it too, and then your dad being a prominent preacher.
I was doing stuff that
it's all a mystery to me.
I was doing stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. You know, just being freaky, but not going all the way. Never went all the way until after I graduated high school. But I was doing enough where I might as well have. You know what I'm saying? And just because it felt good. And you think about the religious part of it, but it's like in the moment you feel like you're getting away with it. So it's just like you just keep doing it because you are getting away with it. And so.
You didn't feel any shame or anything when you were doing it? Okay.
No.
She said, no.
No. I was having fun, you know, because I'm like, okay, I like this. I think I like the attention, but it was always something I wanted. It was reciprocated. So like nobody ever took advantage of me or touched me inappropriately, you know. It was probably me initiating it. I initiated it kind of with the kid's dad, like, because I knew he liked me and had been pursuing me, but he was a little younger than me. So I was like, you're a kid, you know, like you're about to graduate high school. I'm already a freshman in college, you know, like I'm dealing with college dudes. But when I came home, he was like, hot pursuit, hot pursuit, hot pursuit. So at that time, you know, we got pagers and all we got is notes. So I'm like, you can't handle me. I'm in church with these notes. Like, you ain't ready. Like, you can't hang. Like, I'm singing Usher. Like, no, you ain't ready. And at that point, I ain't really been, I'm still kind of wet behind the ears. Like, I had my experience, but I'm just talking crazy. So it was like, well, basically put your money where your mouth is. I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach this little boy something. In my mind, I'm going to teach him something. I'm going to put it on him, make him think about it. And I was too naive and too scared to be on birth control at my parents' house, because that's where I was living, because my mama was nosy. And if she would have found it, she would have hit the roof. So I was like, I can't be on birth control. But at the same time, I'm out here being reckless. And then I guess I kind of thought, well, it happens to other people. It's not going to happen to me. So we set up this little rendezvous in his mama's house, because the boys slept in the basement. It was rooms in the basement. She was there, but she was so distracted. Like, they snuck me in the back door, spent the night. And the crazy thing about it all, the next day he was like, you pregnant? It's like, no, we used a condom. He was like, but I took it off the last time. It's like, no, you didn't. It's like, you pregnant. And I was pregnant.